Hey guys, we're back with another episode of Magic the Gathering Duels of the Planeswalkers 2015! Except, we have no guests today. There's no guests,
Yeah, it's
Nick.
just us.
Yeah, we're just gonna play 1v1.
1v1.
It happens. It happens from time to time on the Magic. I mean, this Magic series started just 1v1, you know.
It started, and maybe it'll end that way. Who knows?
It's highly
like, you're
possible.
born naked, you die naked,
Yeah.
you start Magic 2v2 or 1v1, you stand it.
I'm gonna say it's not necessarily like a for sure thing that you're gonna die naked.
Oh, it's not?
No, I'd say, yeah, you don't... In fact, I would imagine that most people don't die naked.
I figured it was one of those, like, cyclical life things, like on The Lion King.
Actually, you know what's funny is I thought you were just referencing Always Sunny in Philadelphia, because I'm pretty sure that's something that, like, Danny DeVito's character espoused in one of the episodes.
I think it is, too. I've been watching a lot of that, so if it crept subconsciously into my mind, I wouldn't be surprised by that.
I should go back and rewatch that entire series again. I've watched all the episodes, like, 3 times, but...
Well, you're working on season 10 right now, right?
Yeah, I just started
7, 10?
Yeah, whatever it is, I don't know.
But
yeah, no, I started watching the new season. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty good from what I had so far.
They go on Family Feud at one point. It's pretty good.
Oh, that sounds great.
One of the guys, I forget if it's Key or Peele because I can never remember which is which, but one of them is the host.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I don't know.
Sick of their shit real fast because they have problems, as you probably. The Reynolds in general just have some issues.
They tend to, yeah. Yeah, you should get Rob McElhenney or Charlie Day on the NLSS one of these days.
McElhenney, I think is how you say it.
I think it's McElhenney, but I mean, honestly, you could be completely right.
It's all right. I don't know. Yeah, I'll just take that.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Not really worth just like killing my other guy for that.
Yeah, that's fair as well. That is totally fair. We don't have to deal with Vizkopa Guildmage.
Oh, it's such a blessing in disguise.
It's amazing. It's not really in disguise at all.
No, I mean we don't have Austin, but we also don't have that.
Oh right, yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah. Oh, Vizkopa Guildmage, how I hate thee.
What a piece of shit that card is.
It really is. Honestly.
Oh, I can feel the comments coming already. Why do you guys play this fucking game if you want to shit on it every single time? It's a piece of shit game, but it's what we know and what we love.
That's like basically
We're in a bad relationship.
Yeah.
Oh, what'd you just add to that?
Nothing.
Wait, you can kill a thing with regenerate?
Well, you didn't regenerate it.
I was looking at your card when you killed it, you dillhole.
I did that real fast, so you didn't have time.
That's so rude.
You even had enough. You had enough mana. Is my game frozen? Or no? I guess
waiting to skip blocking, if that's what you mean.
Okay. Yeah, I tried to do that as quickly as possible, so you didn't regenerate it. You had one land.
We're playing in real life. There's not a chance that's even possible to happen. So we just said, "Hey, slow down."
That's true. Hey man, if it's in the game, use it. You know, that's what I'm saying.
Dill hole. All right.
I am the whole of a dill. You're right about that.
I want to say I've had enough of your shit, but like I don't have a good way to have enough of your shit right now.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah.
I guess I could do this. At least you won't attack me with your shitty 1/1s anymore.
Yeah, that's an excellent
Except for your
point.
one that explodes. That one you'll still do.
Yeah, he's a good one. He is a good one.
Have we ever talked about, like, paradoxes in movies and how you feel about that?
No.
I feel like we might have, but I don't think I phrased the question right. I don't even know 100% that what I'm describing is actually a paradox, but, like, the situation in Harry Potter where he sees himself cast a spell that causes him to see himself casting the spell.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's just, like, really weird, shitty...
Well, that's a predestination loop. Yeah.
Does that bother you in general? Because when I see that in a story, it just makes me hate the movie immediately.
Yeah, I mean, generally, when I watch a movie for the first time, I try to turn off, like,
you can
being
do that?
analytical.
Oh my god, tell me how you do that. I hate that so badly in my life.
Well, it's just that it's very easy for me to fall into the trap of being overly analytical about a thing, and then and then I hate everything. So
Turn my brain off, and it hurts me sometimes.
yeah,
Just be quiet.
yeah, that's fair.
Okay. So we'll start on the left. All right.
No. Uh-oh.
Well, you know, fuck off, I guess. Oh, okay. It's like that, is it?
Yeah, they all get the 3s. And that guy's dead, which I'm pretty happy about. But, yeah. What was what were we just talking about? Oh, yeah, time paradoxes. Yeah, you know, honestly, movies dealing with time tend to just do it poorly. Oh, I guess he's back. Because,
yeah.
like, they tend to just, like, they do this thing where they're like, oh, we're running out of time. We gotta move quickly, otherwise time is gonna be all fucked up. It's like, no, you have a time machine. There is no rush for anything ever again, never again. You could go hang out in the 1800s for like 5 years. It doesn't matter. You're fine.
Well, I mean, theoretically, I mean, we're talking about, I guess, in this case, movies with time machines. I didn't know that we always were.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Well, I mean, even in the Harry Potter thing, which again, I know I've been corrected on this before, where
Oh, we have brought this up then.
yeah, we've brought up the time turner. But yeah, I mean, essentially in the whole time turner thing, in the book it's better explained and there are limits to it. However, in the movie it's not like that at all. Like in the movie it's just like they don't explain that they can't just use it willy-nilly, basically, as well as they should anyway, because it's like a huge plot hole, because they could have just been like
First strike, god damn it.
yeah, that thing is first strike. But yeah, so I don't know. It's butts. They're like well, we gotta hurry, otherwise this thing happens. Like, no, you have a time machine. You're fine. You're a-okay.
What do you have to make choices about? I got no cards. Oh, you can do it to me?
Yep. Creatures are players.
Fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just thinking about that because just in general, that concept spoils the whole concept of the movie for me every single time.
Oops.
Just come up with a way that you can write in that makes sense. That isn't just reliant on me turning off my mind. Because that's really the only solution to those problems, is just pretend you didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Or pretend it's okay, like that you can't logically put those things together. Unless, is there another solution to it other than that I'm not aware of?
Then, what? Then having a time loop?
Well, like, how does that loop start if not for the thing that put it into action in the first place? There's no solution that makes actual sense, right?
Well, yeah, it's like a philosophical concept thing that, yeah, there's no real solution to it. It's just predestination. There's a couple of explanations that are possible, but since we can't travel in time, we don't really know. But there's like multiverse theory, which would state that you can't ever really travel back in time in this same timeline. You can only bend time through the fifth dimension, or through the sixth dimension to alter the fifth dimension, which alters the fourth dimension, instead of trying to do it through the fifth.
What's the sixth dimension?
The sixth dimension is all possible universes that could exist, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
I didn't know that those could cross over into each other, theoretically. Alright. Fair enough, I guess.
Yeah, there's some weird shit.
Yeah, then you start to look through life like a freaking kaleidoscope full of fractals, and then you don't care about storytelling anymore because everything is so grand that it seems irrelevant.
Yeah, I mean, a couple things try to add some other aspects to other things, so I don't know.
What?
I mean, like, well, like, we talked about Interstellar last time. They just
Yeah.
try to apply new rules and stuff to the ideas of time travel to make it
I
make
hate when somebody's
sense.
just like, because science.
Yeah.
Or because whatever. That's why we do the things we do.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
It's not a good reason for me. I want more than that.
Well, the thing is, we just don't know. really, a lot of the time with time travel, because we haven't really perfected how to do it. There's even the idea that maybe you can never travel in time backwards. Maybe the only way to travel in time is forward. You just can't travel in time backwards. It's a possibility, too. We don't know.
Yeah, but so the scientist folds the piece of paper in half, right? And then he pokes the pencil through it, and that's how wormholes work, right?
Yeah. Well,
so if light can do that, why can't time?
Well, technically, that is theoretically possible, though. Like with the wormhole.
I'm not trying to make a false equivalency. I was just being dumb.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, no. Yeah, that one kind of, because that's the nature of what we understand of time travel is that we only perceive the third dimension, and if the fourth dimension is indeed time, as we suggest, then technically we could fold the fourth dimension through the fifth dimension to get from point A to point B closer. So, you know,
right.
that is potentially an option, but we just don't know.
But since we don't know, it seems intellectually dishonest to base an entire story premise on a thing that we have such a tenuous grasp of, and then to expect us to just turn off our minds and accept it. That's where I stand on that. I know I kind of keep pushing you on that, but you know.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to work out my plans here.
Yeah, work it out, jam it out.
Yeah.
Slam your clam, slam your jam, whatever you got.
Sometimes I like to slam my clam jam.
Slam your clam into a jam if you can.
Yeah, I do that sometimes too.
Put it on the side of the table and smash it off. Whatever you got to do.
I tennis. I do lots of things. Loads of things all the time.
Look at all these creatures you got all of a sudden.
Yeah, I got a lot of goblins. I don't have a lot of land, though, which is kind of really unfortunate for me. But, kids these days.
Yeah, right? Kids these days. That's what I was thinking.
Seriously. God, they can't just...
do anything.
They can't stop saying the darndest things.
Yeah.
They just can't do it.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm uncomfortable with your 6 lands.
Never been more right in your damn life.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. No,
right.
No, you're right.
Yep.
You are right. You know what you're right about? Being right.
No.
You're right.
Oh, that's what it is?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you win.
It's a good possibility.
What's this guy doing in? Oh, yeah, he's got to go. So, that's 4. Okay, that's... No. No, that doesn't work either. Fuck.
I made a bit of an error, maybe? Yeah, I think I did. I could have had a more damage potential. I already made one mistake in this episode so far. That I know of. I mean, I'm sure more successful Magic players would find more mistakes.
They've got hundreds of them in there.
Yeah, that's true. If we had an MMR in Magic, it would be like under 1k, probably.
What is that even based on, though?
It's basically based on win rate. Oh, what does that thing do? I can't see it.
It allows me to get 2 more life so I can live for another turn, basically.
Okay, I see. Intriguing. Very intriguing.
Alright, this is a weird way to do what I was going to do without having to use a card for it, but I think I live this turn.
Yeah. Yeah, looks like you're Gucci, baby. Like you're a Gucci baby.
I'm sure someone in, like, California somewhere is a Gucci baby.
Just one land. Oh.
Just deck that baby out in jackets, flags, and Gucci apparel.
Mm-hmm.
They have Gucci shoes.
Yeah,
They've got to have Gucci. They got the bags, they got the watches probably, they got a jacket, the glasses.
Oh, I don't doubt it at all.
What a style. What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive.
Did you see that tweet I retweeted that was like this woman was holding her selfie stick while she was on the phone? She had it like on her arm so she could cradle the selfie stick while she had her phone up against her ear, but with the stick attached to it, so she was holding a stick. Wait, what are we doing here? This is gonna be...
I'm gonna kill that thing.
Alright.
I think I win.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay. That's fine. That doesn't factor into my plans.
That actually might help.
No, because you're probably not going to like this bit. Because I'm going to do this.
Oh, first strike, huh?
Yeah, that's not the aspect that's the
shit,
problem. That's not the main thrust of your issue. It's that you can't possibly block all three, so so it's the 4 damage from the gutter snipe.
Yeah, so it was the gutter snipe. So I have a flesh to dust that I was thinking of using on the gutter snipe, but that would have left me with no land. And then I was planning on trying to regenerate and using that undying at an appropriate moment. Oh, god damn it, Rob.
the drawing the other instant card gave me lethal damage, so it was pretty nice. Either land or that would have pretty much ensured the win there. So yeah, you just can't possibly block all the damage.
All the 2 damage that you did.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta do it piecemeal with the goblin deck, you know? You just gotta do it a little damage over time, and you'll do it if the goblins don't get rolling. But once they get rolling,
your noodle going.
You really do get your noodle going. You tend to. You really tend to.
It's a weird, mysterious force, the noodle. One of the pasta family that's, you know, it's more substantial than most. It's a tube that is not necessarily filled in, which is the opposite of most pasta.
That's a good point. Noodles can be potentially not filled in, right? It's weird. It's a weird time.
I guess we'll just put that all behind us then.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive. I feel like Austin would have really grabbed onto what a time to be alive if he was here with us right now.
He might have, yeah. I don't know if he's a big Simpsons fan, honestly.
I mean, you could just say it anyway. You don't have to be a Simpsons fan.
Moon pie. What a time to be alive. Imagine if they made pies from the moon, though. That would be pretty cool.
They could just make pies on the moon. It doesn't have to be from the moon. The moon's not made of cheese.
That's true. Although we all wished. I'm sure there is at least a pretty high contingent. Like a... Well, I guess I do mean that grammatical error that I just made in my sentence. But like a pretty large contingent of people that were watching the moon landing are like, please let it be cheese. Please let it be cheese. Please let it be cheese. And we're very disappointed that it wasn't cheese.
What are you going to do with it? The top's all rotted out.
Well, you don't know that. I mean, there's no atmosphere up there, right? So like, it can't go bad. It's not gonna go. It's not gonna get oxygen
microorganisms might thrive on dark matter that eat the cheese.
Well, that's a possibility.
Dump feces all over the lower layers.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. The new season of Doctor Who tries to explain what the moon actually is. So that's a thing.
Fucking rocks and dust. What do you want to make it? It doesn't need to be anything.
It would be cheese. Imagine all that delicious cheese dust that's on the top.
We have all the cheese we need here.
Imagine if the moon was actually just a big solid hunk of like Gouda, and then the dust is actually just like Cheeto dust. Ugh, that would be awesome.
What if it was all covered in baking soda?
Well, we could still find ways to extract the cheese from the baking soda, I think. Like, you know, we can extract like pure water from salt water already. I think we can. Yeah. I think we could work something out. The question is, what's the ROI on it, right? Like, is it worth the trip? Like, how much cheese?
We have cheese here.
Well, that's the question. Like, how much cheese could you possibly bring back that people would be, that it would be like a good investment? Because like, you might have to sell like yeah, there you go. You might have to sell like a $10,000 block of cheese. In fact, you know what? Now that I think about it, because they sell moon rocks for like $10,000 and stuff. So
shitty deal.
Yeah, surely if it was made of cheese, it would be, you could value it even higher, because then the rich people would want to only eat their moon cheese.
Didn't they have like beer or something that was made in space?
They did, yeah. That is a.
We read about that on another episode of Magic.
It's an incredible. It's like a $5,000 per bottle of like a 12-ounce bottle of beer that was brewed in space.
Wasn't it a case? I thought they give you like 6 or something.
No, I think it was per bottle was the price for that one. That was one of the more expensive ones.
Stupid shit.
Yeah. New meaning to low gravity. Low gravity. What is it called? Low gravity malt liquor, probably. I guess.
Never heard of it, so I don't know.
Low gravity. Okay, so in the for those of you who have not grown up experiencing shitty malt liquor as your first drink of choice, as a youngin. You may not know what a high gravity beer is. High gravity. So you have the old standbys. You know, you got Colt 45, which is fucking horse piss. You have Old English, which is honestly the classiest of the malt liquors. You have like King Cobra, which is my personal favorite, but and the best thing about King Cobra is you get a 6-pack, and each can will taste different. Although the most common flavor is banana. We have all agreed that banana is the most common flavor of King Cobra. Important to note, doesn't put like flavors on the cans. They're all King Cobra. They all just taste slightly different. Yeah.
How does that even work?
It's probably because... Okay, so our theory was... So King Cobra is made by Anheuser-Busch, which makes like loads of different kinds of beers, like Budweiser and a load of different kind of shit. So our theory was, for the reason of the variable taste and quality of King Cobra, is that what they did with King Cobra is they just like scooped out the what's ever left at the bottom of the, you know, brewing jug, like that. Yeah, and then like all mix that in together, pop that into cans, and call it King Cobra. And that honestly,
why does it say like banana then?
That's a good question. Maybe a lot of people eat bananas in the factories. Maybe they give out free bananas.
Wait,
I don't know. Maybe
a lot of people eat bananas in the factories. Are you implying that they piss in the thing?
Well, I mean, that's a possibility too. But really, I was more saying that, you know, this is King Cobra we're talking about here. They could easily have dropped their half-eaten banana into the vat by accident.
Oh.
You know, that's a possibility. But anyway, yeah, so you know, regular malt liquors. High gravity malt liquor, however, is a whole other set, right? So you have things like Steel Reserve, you have things like St. Ides, and if you want to go onto the farther spectrum of the really disgusting high gravity, you go for something like Earthquake. I would never advise that you touch Earthquake. It literally tastes like... Honestly, I can't even describe it. It tastes like pure asshole. It tastes like if you saw like that homeless guy outside the store drinking an Earthquake, you could go ask him to flip over and you lick his asshole. That's what it would taste like. That's what it would taste like. It tastes disgusting. St. Ides and Steel Reserve are equally disgusting, although Steel Reserve is actually palatable once you've gotten accustomed to the flavor. But essentially what the high gravity malt liquors are higher percentage beers. So like something like a St. Ides will be like at a 12% or something. And it'll get you fucked up, but it will also be a disgusting and horrible ride, and you will have a night. You will St. Ides is a lot like tequila. If you drink a 40 of St. Ides, you'll have a story afterwards. Will it be a good story? Probably not, but it'll be a story. So
I don't know why people want to drink stuff that tastes like absolute shit at all.
Well,
you don't have to do it.
Well,
if your goal is to get fucked up, you can do it without drinking stuff that tastes like shit. I promise.
That's true, but as a young adult, often budgetary constraints are a major issue, and for the homeless and the lower class, that also tends to be an issue. And malt liquor really gives you the most bang for your buck. You are gonna get fucked up on a 40 or something, probably.
Well, so what I'm thinking is, and I understand the budgetary concerns. Where I would go if this was the case is I would probably just get like a bottle of Malibu rum, which tastes like coconut.
See, but that's like a $20 investment.
It's like $14.
Even so, consider the alternative.
I bought a few of them and they're not that expensive.
Consider the alternative though. You can get like fucked up in the same way for $2. I mean, really.
No, I guess you're right. It's just an entitlement thing. Like, that wouldn't be an option for me because I just wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, sometimes I like going back and having the old malt liquors. I mean, I still can drink Old E. It's certainly not as enjoyable as it was when I was younger, but you know.
All right.
It's a thing.
It's your prerogative.
Yeah. I mean, it just tastes like youth. That's what it tastes like.
You know what I would do also? I would get the, what is it, Kahlua?
Kahlua, yeah, Kahlua is good.
It's like the coffee stuff.
Oh, you're talking about Bailey's?
Yeah, that's what I mean, the Bailey's. And I just pour it over a bunch of ice and some milk, and it's just basically like a milkshake.
Yeah, that's really bad for you if you do that, though.
Why?
Because Bailey's is straight up made of sugar. It's
oh,
just,
yeah?
oh my god, yeah. You ever just take a straight
Well,
shot of Bailey's? It's
I don't know,
delicious.
probably.
It's delicious, but it is pure sugar.
Why is that bad for me?
Well, because it's pure sugar. Also, just sugar and alcohol, honestly, are
Well,
not
yeah,
supposed
headache,
to mix.
I know that.
Yeah, it's a big issue.
But, like, you're drinking actual poison. Like, the whole premise of alcohol is that it's poisoning you, and you're filtering it through, and that's what gives you the feeling of drunkenness.
That's an excellent point, yeah.
Why be concerned about me killing myself with sugar at that point?
No, I mean that's true. But you can get like, yeah, I mean like you can get a real bad headache. You can get some real bad things.
No, I hear you on the headache.
You
but
can also
like, if
crash
I drink enough
too.
water, then I'm fine. And I'm not drinking it to get fucked up. It just tastes fine.
Yeah, that's true.
At best, I'm getting a slight buzz from that if I have a lot.
Using Bailey's as a creamer in coffee is fantastic, though.
Yeah, teachers all over the country do it.
Mm-hmm. They really do.
Really do.
Bailey's is fantastic. It's real good. It's very delicious. I haven't had
Also,
Bailey's
I just
in a
get
while.
headaches off of everything, so like sugar or not, I don't know. I don't drink that much, aside from Pax's mostly.
Honestly, me either. I used to drink a lot, but I don't really drink very often because I don't derive a lot of enjoyment from honestly doing any kind of intoxicant. Is that a word?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, any type of intoxicant by myself, it's kind of boring to me.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And then whenever you're with people, it's always loud if you're going to be drinking. So immediately, there's the first headache warning.
Yeah.
I get enough headaches without drinking.
Mm-hmm.
So add that on top of it. It's like, I have the recipe for a disaster.
Yeah.
So, like, at the last PAX, I just, like, didn't stick around for mostly all the drinking stuff. I pretty much just went back to the hotel pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I made the right decision. I didn't end up sick, and I got to enjoy a nice breakfast one of those days.
Yeah, but there was that one night where we all got so plastered, and it was really fun. Even though we all missed PAX the next day,
yeah,
and also wanted to die, the night was very enjoyable. I don't remember a lot of it, but I do remember enjoying it, and that's what's important.
Austin got it the worst out of everybody.
Austin did get it. Well, no, Austin and Ryan as well, but
right. But I got to see Austin most of the time. I didn't see Ryan through most of it, so I'm just gonna assume Austin was probably worse. Yeah, actually, no, that's not true. Like Austin was worse because he didn't eat that whole day. Ryan had lunch.
I don't think I'm fully allowed to talk about.
Yeah.
So, but if you had heard the story,
no, I know that was a thing.
It got bad, yeah, but
it was pretty bad.
Yeah, but yeah, no, but beyond that aspect, which you know happens sometimes when you get plastered and blackout drunk. I mean, you know, it's a side effect. Besides that, it was pretty funny because like we were just sitting down and it would just be like we would take a shot and someone else would just be like, "Hey, you guys want a round of shots?" And be like, and you know, no one says no. Well, some people did, but they were bitches.
No.
Yeah. Well, not you. Well, you. I don't think you were even around when we were doing the shot.
That's the point. That's why I was the biggest bitch because I wasn't even there.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But there was this one time where we were just asking for like we didn't know what we were getting because we don't know anything about shots or alcohol. And Austin asked the bartender, he's like, "So what's your best shot?" And the lady's like, "Oh, it's a caramel surprise." And
what's the surprise?
Well, here you go.
You're fucking trash.
No, it's a caramel surprise. So we all get a round of caramel surprises. And poor Kate was like, "Oh, that sounds good. I'll have a caramel surprise." She wasn't taking shots at every round, and she's like, "I'll have a caramel surprise." So we get the shots, and we all get ready to take the shots, and we take them. We find out the surprise of the caramel surprise is that it's a shot of straight up Captain Morgan rum. That's all it is. It's just a glass of Captain Morgan, and that's a surprise.
Such bullshit. Oh my god, that's so dumb.
And poor Kate was not expecting that. I mean, none of us were expecting it. So he just took it straight up.
Why would they call it that?
It was like a double too. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that was like a double shot. So it was pretty big shot.
I'd be so angry.
Captain Morgan. Like all of us afterwards were just like, oh man, yeah, okay, all right. I see the surprise. I get it. Clever.
It was probably like $8 for each.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So,
Oh.
yeah, so that was an event that happened. That was pretty good.
It's so weird how you go from like drinking malt liquor that's $2 for like all you could drink that night versus for $8 getting like one shot that's not even going to do that much for you.
Bar prices are pretty terrible, and it sucks because what they corner the market on is like having a place to socialize and drink, which sucks because like that. I mean, that was like one of the biggest issues when you're drinking and you're younger.
Yeah.
Over the age of 21, obviously. I never touched a drop until I was over 21.
No one's assuming you did.
Yeah. But anyway, but when you're drinking when you're younger, you know, you don't have a place to go drink. You can't drink with your parents because they'll get mad. And you can't drink in a bar because you look too young, and they don't check ID. They're just like, oh no, you look too young, even though I was over 21. So that's an issue. But so yeah, I mean, you have. I
feel like there's a lot of story I just missed just now.
So you have a lot of issues, and bars kind of corner that whole idea where it's just like you need a place to socialize and get drunk with your friends, and so they can mark it up, and it sucks.
Well, they got to pay their overhead, but at the same time, I think maybe they go a little excessive at times. But then again, they're taking advantage of people being drunk and having, you know, their judgment inhibited.
Yeah, that is entirely true. And yeah, but you know, it's still I mean, honestly, now if I drink, I do drink better beers. Like I drink a beer. I don't drink malt liquor, you know.
Right.
Whereas I used to drink only malt liquor.
Fair enough.
And I remember those times fondly.
But as with many things in life, they're transient.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly, yeah.
You move on to bigger, better things, and you know better, and you have different experiences.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, having that shit schlock down my throat all the time made me realize how delicious good beer actually is.
Right, you don't have to turn over a homeless person like their asshole anymore.
Exactly. Yeah.
Those days are done.
I mean, it'll get you fucked up. If you want to turn over a homeless guy and lick his asshole, you will get fucked up. But
I don't doubt it.
Is that the only goal that you have now?
What's going on back there?
Mm-hmm. Some dark shit.
Literally.
Yeah, no pun intended. He's not healthy. He's been having dark feces coming out of his rectum.
Oh my God.
Because he's homeless. Doesn't have a good diet. Eats only McDonald's.
They're making that even harder, too. Dollar Menu doesn't have much for $1 anymore, does it?
Dollar Menu sucks ass now, yeah.
The only deal I found is you get the double cheeseburgers that are like $1.85 or something like that.
And they're honestly, Nick, I haven't had a burger from McDonald's in like years because
they're all $8 now.
Yeah, I don't know. They're just
aside from the ones I just mentioned.
The burgers from McDonald's are just gross to me. They just don't taste good.
I like to imagine they're like mashed up worm patties. That's kind of the way that they look to me sometimes. Like the way the texture of the beef looks, it almost looks like a bunch of worms kind of like interwoven together.
It's just
they make you want McDonald's.
They're like thin gray discs of.
They're very thin.
Animal flesh. They're very thin. Yeah, they're shitty. They're just gross.
They're slightly taller on the outside edges for some reason, but the center gets kind of cooked down, so it's barely, you know, like less than an inch thick.
Yeah, maybe that's on purpose to make it look thicker on the outside.
Oh, for the bun, for the presentation, they can cut the meat out from that. You're right. That is probably what it is.
That could be it. Yeah, that might be in fact what they're doing. But yeah, no, I just I don't know, man. I can't eat it. I think it's partially because I was incredibly spoiled when I lived in Los Angeles for a year, because LA, if you want like fucking burgers that are amazing all around you at all times, Los Angeles is the place. Seriously.
Fish tacos all night.
Yeah, they have fish tacos. There's a great deal of good Mexican food there too, but
I don't doubt it.
Burger joints are unbelievable. There's so many out there, and because the competition is so fierce, all of them are like trying to one up each other on quality, and it's good. In New York,
you live in New York City, though. Like, you don't have that here?
No, not at all. You have that with pizzerias. Pizzerias, that's why the pizza's so good, is because there's at least, I mean, honestly, I don't think it's, I could probably say with good authority that the that the ratio of pizza to blocks in New York is probably at least 1, like maybe 0.8. Like almost every block in New York City, and I'm talking even the boroughs, has a pizza place on it. And the reason I say 1 or like 0.8 or something is because some of them have like multiple.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a fierce competition for great pizza in New York, which is why the pizza's so good. But the burgers, no, not the same, not at all.
There's gotta be a lot of good burger places
I'm sure.
don't know about.
I'm sure, but the thing is, in California they have like the burger chains, and their franchise burgers are just fucking amazing because they all pretty much all of them actually make the burgers on the grill, which is, I mean, they
Doesn't even Burger King make them on the grill technically?
Technically, that's the thing. There's no technical aspect to the Los Angeles burger.
It's an actual burger.
Yeah, and then there's like the mom and pop burger shops too. If you don't want to go the non-franchise route, there are loads of those all over the place too, and they have great burgers as well. I mean, I don't doubt that there are great burgers in New York, but they're just not as easily accessible as they are in Los Angeles.
Right, there's this layer of like sophistication that kind of gets in the way of burgers being just regular, just out there for everybody in New York, I think.
Yeah.
Right, you got to get to like the artisanal burgers that are like not the same level as the common man's burger that everyone wants.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, like that's the thing. If you want a high quality slice of pizza, you can get that from any pizzeria in New York, basically. I mean, a lot of the pizzerias are gross, but still, I mean, you get that from, like, the overall pizza quality will be higher in New York City, right? But the, and I'm sure you could find something of equivalent quality in any city in any state, but that will be like a $5, $10 slice or something from some place that's like a restaurant that makes
$10
it.
slice? Is that really a thing?
Well, you know, you'd have to go to an upper echelon pizza place in those places.
I don't want to live in that world.
Yeah. New York, however, actually the competition has been fantastic for the past like several years in New York, because the competition has gotten to the point where it's trying to drive the price as low as it can possibly get.
What's the slice now? It's like $1.60 or something?
Well, I'd say average pizza slice is anywhere between $2 and $2.50 for a slice most of the time. A lot of places have deals where you could get like $5 for 2 slices and a drink.
But you always get 2, right? So they give you a discount for the 2 slices.
Exactly, yeah. You get the 2 slices and a drink, and that's like $5. So
that brings the per slice down.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
However, I used to hang out a lot in the Lower East Side, and this is actually where this place first came out, and I'm super, it was incredible when it came out. It's a place called Two Bros Pizza, and
Bros.
But we all called it Dollar Pizza because that's what it was. You get a slice of pizza for $1. And the pizza quality was actually pretty good because the volume of pizzas that they sold were so incredibly high that you always got a slice that was fresh out of the oven. Because the line was always out the block for people waiting online to get a slice of Dollar Pizza. Because, I mean, you can't beat that deal. It's a slice of pizza for $1. It's the way pizza should be.
Dude, the hot dog game in New York City, though, is pretty good, too.
The hot dog game is pretty good. But, yeah, I mean,
I know not everybody agrees with that, but there's, like, a very particular flavor of hot dog that only seems to exist in the city.
Yeah. Because there's
probably
also...
just, like, made of trash. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, hot dogs generally are, but, I mean, there's this chain, they're, like... I don't know how you would actually what you would call the chain, because they all have different names. The most famous one is Gray's Papaya, which is on 72nd Street, which is the high school that I went to was like a few blocks away from Gray's Papaya. And that was great because that was a top quality hot dog that is going to be cheaper than the hot dog you'd get at the hot dog cart outside, which will be a considerably lower quality hot dog.
I don't even mind the hot dog from the cart, honestly. It's not that bad.
No, I don't either. I mean, the hot dog from the cart's fine, but it'll be cheaper than that, and it is way better because they grill the hot dogs. Hot dog carts only boil them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you have an issue there. And they have a bunch of different sauces and a bunch of different drinks. And so Gray's Papaya, there's like Papaya King and Papaya some other shit. I don't know. They have a bunch of shit, but they're all over the place. They're good. They're really good. If you want a good hot dog, Gray's Papaya on 72nd Street is fantastic. It'll be a top quality.
They opened up a poutineery yet in the city?
You know what? No.
We've been talking about this for like 2 years now. I
In
feel like
fact,
it's time.
I tweeted about this. And I don't know if I told you about this.
What?
I'm really fucking sad, Nick, because
Why?
you heard about the fire in the Lower East Side, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a big fire in the Lower East Side, in case people didn't know, and there was a bunch of buildings burnt down, a bunch of businesses closed down.
Don't tell me there was a poutineery planned in that space.
The best poutine that you could find in New York City was in a place called Papa's Frites. Or actually, it's not. I always get that name wrong. It's something.
Oh, we talked about this before. Pom
Frites.
Frites.
That's what it is.
Right.
Pom Frites. Yeah, Pom Frites. It's it was a Belgian guy came to New York in the 80s, opened up this little hole in the wall shop called Pom Frites, and made these amazing French fries. I mean, like that. They only sold French fries in that place, and they're incredible. They're like double fried, and they also have like 30 different types of dipping sauce. And I'm actually really sad because Maul's favorite food is French fries, and I wanted to take her there because those honestly are like some of the best French fries that I've ever had, anywhere, and it burned down.
Fuck.
Yeah, it sucks. Pom Frites is amazing. It was so good.
The guy was so okay though, right? Like, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah.
Build.
It was. I think the fire happened at night, so I don't think the business was open when
That's sad.
Yeah. So Pom Frites gone, which is I'm extremely sad about that. And also that had the best poutine in the city. So.
And that wasn't a chain. That was just that guy.
Yeah. It was just Pom Frites. They never opened up any other stores. It was just Pom Frites. Apparently, I read on their Twitter page or their Facebook or something that they were actually in the works of getting a new location and reopening. So,
well, so maybe the bright side of that is hopefully he had a lot of insurance on his building, and maybe he'll be able to rebuild stronger than ever.
That's a possibility. Also, an equally likely possibility is that he had none, and he.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to say that, but it's possible.
It is a little hole in the wall shop, as successful and famous as it was. That tends to be the case with these little hole in the wall shops in New York City. In fact, if you walk a couple blocks down to Astor Place, you would get to this shop. I don't actually know what the name of the shop is, because you just know it by the guy who runs it. And by hole in the wall, I mean literally this one is straight up a hole in the wall. Like, it is not a very large shop. And what it is it's Boris's shoe shop, and it's just a guy named Boris who runs it. And basically they're all used shoes. But you can get them like super cheap, because people give them to him for like free, or I don't think you even sell them to him. And you can get some really nice quality shoes for like super cheap there.
Alright, so you got some shoes, he puts them in a hole in the wall, and he's good.
Yeah. That's how New York business
American
works,
dream.
man. Exactly.
Then the mafia comes.
Yeah. Astor Place sucks ass, though. It's like super hipster town on Astor Place. But, you know, it's alright. You don't have to... When you go to the Lower East Side, you don't really have to go by there. That's like the touristy spot in the Lower East Side. The rest of it's all just a bunch of bars and projects and stuff.
Yeah. Pretty much every time I've ever gone to the city, I've just gone for the museums, so I basically just do that loop around by Central Park.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I've
gone a few blocks in every direction, but I don't think I've gone very far.
Oh, did you ever walk into FEO Schwartz? Because that's on that route.
Probably.
It's really cool. That's a it's a toy store.
Yeah, I think I've been in there. Yeah.
Yeah, right off the park. It's fucking awesome. It's like really cool. You don't even have to be a child to love it.
Fucking annoying guy. I'm remembering now. It wasn't there. It was this guy that was trying to sell some shit, and he was so in like shill mode that he was like accosting everyone that came within 10 feet of him.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Oh, it was so annoying. I think he was selling like little helicopters or some shit, and he was like flying them around the shop and getting them like in your face.
Oh, that's New York City.
Go away. Just go away and try to look at shit.
Dude, you should go hang out in Strawberry Fields in Central Park if you just go... Because in the summertime, everybody just goes and hangs out and just lays down, sometimes put out on a mat or whatever. We would go there after school and stuff. But there would be these guys who would walk around, and they would have coolers, and they would just sell beer. And I'm pretty sure it was very, like, I don't think they had any kind of liquor license or anything. They would just walk around and sell beer. And often, I think they would really target the younger crowd.
Right, well, it's an entrepreneurial spirit, right? That's what drives a lot of America.
That's true, yeah.
You don't think about laws until after you've been arrested. You just do what you can, collect your money, and it's all cash, right? And then you disappear.
Exactly, yeah. Just go into the mountains.
Like...
have a cabin.
Basically how New York works.
Yeah, no, you're right. That is the New York dream. If there's an American dream, the New York dream is to evade the law and then go live in a cabin out in the woods.
It really seems impossible, but everywhere you go, you will see shit that's illegal. Like,
oh yeah,
all the time.
New York. I mean, New York is a city built upon the idea that jaywalking is okay. Totally illegal. It's still it's illegal everywhere else, and it is in fact illegal in New York, but no one. Okay, this is a double negative, but everyone jaywalks.
I don't.
Well, in New York City, you have to.
Why do you mean that? Why?
Just because that's just how the city works.
You wait for the light to change, and you walk across at the corner. What's the problem?
You look really silly if you do that.
Why?
I mean, unless you're in like a really dense populated area. Like,
well, that's the places
Midtown.
I've always been, so it's just you follow the crowd then.
Yeah, I guess so. Anywhere else in New York besides Midtown, it's jaywalking. Everybody jaywalks everywhere. Nobody's gonna get stopped for jaywalking. If someone got stopped for jaywalking, I'm sure everyone on that street around the police officer trying to give that man a ticket would punch the police officer because it's like, come on, man, you must have just came from North Carolina or something, and now you want to be a cop in the NYPD.
First day on the job.
Yeah, because this is I don't think you know how things work here in New York. No, you always jaywalk.
You can make some political statements right there about how things work in New York and cops, but I don't think I'll not do that.
Yeah, that's fair. But jaywalking is just a fact of life. And yeah, no, I mean it's very common to see illegal activities occurring. In fact, one time when I came back from my upstate New York, I think I might have told this before, but when I went to upstate New York for college, I really hated it there because it had this like small town mentality, and I'm not saying anything's wrong with people living in a small town. You can enjoy it. I hate it, but and it's just because like I would walk down the street and people would say hello to you and stuff, and I'd walk by with friends who were from New York, and they would say hello to us, and then we would walk by and we'd just be like, "Do you know that guy? Does anybody know who the fuck that guy is?" And no one would know them, and it would just be like, that's like it's just a culture shock. It's like, why did he say hello? I have no idea who the fuck he is.
Then you get paranoid. You're like, what did he want?
Yeah, exactly. Like, was he a cop?
Trying to scam us?
Yeah,
was he trying to get something?
No, that's the thing. Is like that's something that you learn when you're in New York. Is you don't talk to people. You don't. Like, people make fun of New Yorkers because they always say that no one smiles in New York. There's a good reason
for that.
It's a
sign of vulnerability.
It is. It actually is. The reason you don't smile in New York is because when you smile, then you get accosted by the people on the street trying to sell you their fucking rap records or like give you some flyer or tell you about Jesus. I don't want to know any of that shit. So you don't smile. You grill them. You grill everyone who makes eye contact with you. You have to, otherwise they'll come up to you and harass you, and you don't want that.
On a hot surface until they get scorch lines. That's how you deal with it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the plan. But anyway, so I was in that weird culture shocky, strange environment, and I was really missing New York and the grittiness of the city, even though it's not as gritty as it was when I was a kid. But I come back and I get off the bus, and the first thing I see. When I get off the bus, I'm walking to the train to go home. It's late at night. It's like midnight. As I see a pimp with like 3 super obvious hookers. And when I say a pimp, I mean a pimp out of like a cartoon. Like he has the fedora that has like fur and frills on it. And he's like wearing fancy, ridiculous shit. And he's just walking around with his hookers. And it's just like, welcome home. I feel right as rain. I'm back in New York City. It was beautiful.
I don't pretend to know much about the culture of that whole scene, but why do pimps want to look that way? Because it's so obvious that they're a pimp.
I have no idea. It seems like as if a drug dealer were walking around with a sign on his back that says, "I'm selling drugs."
That's kind of what I'm saying, yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it either, but
it's not judgment. It's just like I want to understand what's behind.
I
that.
think maybe it has to do with the law because I mean, like, you can't accost a man for what he's wearing, right? So like,
oh, so it's like flying in the face in defiance, then I guess.
Maybe, yeah, because I mean, like, the only way, the only thing that would make the only thing that they do that's illegal happens when the transaction occurs. If they don't see the transaction occurring, then they can't stop an obvious pimp with obvious hookers.
Okay, so it's actually probably more about staking a claim in certain territory and letting other people know who you are and where you are.
That might well be the case, yeah.
And the police don't really have a say in any of that. They just kind of are around.
It also seems a bit silly in that way, though, because, I mean, if they didn't know you were a pimp, they will now, and they will case you. They will follow you now because you've made it extremely obvious, so...
Right, but there's so many people in the city, they can't follow everyone all the time, and there's freaking pimps everywhere.
That's true, yeah. So... Yeah, but I just
pimps than NYPD.
Yeah, there might be. No, actually, there won't be because here's the thing. I learned this recently. Did you know that if New York City was their own country, and the police force were its military, the NYPD, we would have like something like we would be in the top 20 largest militaries in the world.
Yeah, I did know that because you told me that once before.
It's like, well, fuck, yeah, no, there's a lot of cops in New York. There's a lot of them.
You will see cops every time you go to the city. There's no chance you'll miss them.
Cops are more common than pizzerias.
Yeah.
So.
Often you can see the two of them at the same time.
You often do, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they're human beings. They eat food, so there's really not very much controversial to say about.
I mean, yeah, if you're from New York City, you love pizza. I mean, that's just a fact of life. There's no not liking pizza and living in New York City. It just doesn't happen, unless you're like a snobby hipster who's like, yeah, I don't, it gives calories into you. Just shut up, eat some pizza, you freaking nerd. But yeah.
All right, you want to get into the other thing we wanted to talk about then?
Yeah, sure.
And what would that be?
Well, it's the whole YouTube subscription.
Yeah, so YouTube's getting a subscription system, and the sky is falling again, and it'll be the end of YouTube, and it'll be the last straw, and everything's gonna end.
I still don't get how it's controversial. I don't get it. I don't see it.
Yeah, well, all the shit that I just said is just sort of the reaction that I've seen a lot on Twitter and in comment sections of places.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure we know enough 100% that's fact to really be making judgments like that.
Yeah. And at the same time, keep in mind that I don't know if even if the change rolls out, which I'm serious, that part of my sentence is a very likely possibility that they just won't actually do it, because that's something that YouTube has done in the past.
Well, they did email us though.
They did, but still. Anyway,
yeah.
Even if it does come out, there's also the other possibility that it'll work the same way as like the tip jar does, which is like, does anyone even know it exists?
Yeah. I'm not sure I've ever gotten one of those tips, and if I have, I don't know how I'd know.
Yeah, well, you have to activate it on your account.
No, I have it. It's up.
Oh, yeah.
I've had it for like 3 months.
I don't know. You can check it, but I was watching. I watched a. Oh, okay, yeah. I watched a bit of the Co-optional podcast, and Jesse Cox, who is a very popular YouTuber, said that like, yeah, his tip jar, like, I think he made something like $10 on it over the course of him having it up the entire time. So it's like, it's so in the back end that no one even knows about it for even the most popular YouTubers. So like, this could very well go that same way. It could just be something that nobody even fucking pays attention to, which is honestly, I think, pretty likely.
When I signed up for the tip jar, it was the last month that I had my network, my previous network, Machinima.
Yeah.
And it was like the middle to end of December, I think. So I clicked the button and it was like, do you want to activate this feature? And then when I said that, it was saying, you authorize payment to Machinima Incorporated for whatever the ensuing, monetary exchange in the transaction is. And I said, wait, I didn't sign a contract that says Machinima gets to collect my tips and then it's at their discretion what they do with them.
Yeah.
So I kind of wasn't very happy about that.
Uh-huh.
I wrote to Machinima, and, well, you know how that goes.
Right, so you never heard.
Reply.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I got a weird reply, but it wasn't actually any of the questions that I asked were answered. He just said, like, that I don't have access to that feature. So I did, and I turned it on, and he could see it on my account. But he said I didn't, so I didn't have it. But I do. I have it now. Like, you can look at it. You could look at it then, too. He could look at it. He had my channel name. I wrote to him. Anyway, Machinno's not a very good company, but that's not what I wanted to talk about. The whole premise is that there's going to be a site-wide subscription service that you basically, as far as we know... Yeah, it's an optional thing, and a lot of the information that we know is not based on anything we've heard from actual YouTube, because this is how the trend goes. We read it mostly from a Verge article. And yes, they did email us, but they didn't give us hardly anything to go on from that email. Essentially, the tone of the email was like, you should be proud of us that we're trying new things.
Yeah.
Like, what? Fuck off. So...
Several years too late, YouTube.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like $10 to subscribe to the whole site. And then we're going to not have ads, so it's kind of like Twitch Turbo.
Yeah.
And then the premise is that we will get 55% of the subscribers' time watched on our videos as if they had ads.
Well...
Right?
No.
Unless you know a better way to say that, because I don't understand.
So according to the Verge article...
Okay.
So people are going to pay... Right, exactly, yeah. According to the Verge article, here's how it's going to work. Everybody's $10 a month, or however much the subscription is going to be, is put into a pool. 55% of that pool is then doled out to every partner on YouTube. The percentage that you get of that pool, or this is something that's very confusing and completely, like, I don't think anybody really knows, is based on how many minutes you watch of our videos, that's how much we're going to get out of the pool?
But that's kind of what I said. It's just there's an unknown in that, because that means nothing. There's no variable there that explains how much we'll get.
Yeah.
It's their sliding scale that they can decide, you know, the 44.9% goes to PewDiePie and the rest goes to all the rest of the channels.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, YouTube still doesn't tell us how much exactly they're getting from the ads. So,
right, and then there's also the fact that we have MCNs to deal with, and they'll probably take some of it too.
They will likely take a cut, yeah.
Although we haven't signed that into our contract, but because they're MCNs, they'll just decide they get to take it also.
Yeah, yeah. Another thing YouTube is great for. Love YouTube.
So, how the hell does that make any sense? Like, is there any situation where it sounds like we're going to make a bunch of money from that? Because I don't get that impression.
No, not at all. This is a way for YouTube to make more money as an alternative to ad blocker. And
it's a way for YouTube to make money off of people who use ad block and not us.
Right.
Specifically.
And I don't understand it, honestly, because it seems like it's a half measure, right? Why
it doesn't need to be at our expense. We can both make money off of that.
Yeah, like, why not have people... Why not allow people to subscribe to a channel? Because, I mean, YouTube... This is something that I don't understand. I don't know why YouTube doesn't offer this option, like Twitch does. Because YouTube knows... I mean, they have to know that most of the top YouTubers are using Patreon, right? And that's just money that's going to Patreon and the YouTuber. Whereas if they just decide to cut out the middleman and offer that service instead, they will not only kill Patreon, but make all that money themselves. Which is so confusing to me, because it's like, why wouldn't you do that? YouTube is in the red. It is perpetually in the red. They don't make enough money. They don't make more money than they spend on YouTube right now, and they haven't for years. So I don't understand why they don't offer these optional programs that give people opportunities with expendable income to support their favorite whatever. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any logical sense to me that they wouldn't invest in a project that would give that type of service to people.
So there was like 6 to 8 hours before this Verge article came out that we had heard about this feature on Twitter/YouTube/email, and we were starting to speculate, and the most obvious conclusion that it seemed we were coming to was this is their measure to try and go into parity with Twitch, because they had just announced they're redoubling on their commitment to live streaming. So he said, all right, so if this makes sense, they're going to say, now we have a commitment to gaming. We're going to make some features happen that seem like they're similar to Twitch. So we assumed channel-specific subscriptions would be the most obvious way to implement that.
Yeah.
And instead, no, maybe.
I just don't
We're still speculating. We don't know if this is really what's going to happen. This might be to just test the waters.
I mean, either way, it's pretty cool. I mean, like, even if we don't get paid well on it, which is looking like it's a likelihood, whatever, I still like the ability to have a YouTube Turbo. That's pretty cool. I'd honestly probably pay for that, because I like not watching ads.
The reception was very strange. It seemed like people universally hated the idea.
Yeah, extremely negative.
And
Which, as far as
so
YouTube
weird.
ideas, this is on like the top 5 already of YouTube ideas for how to change the site. This is pretty good. I don't understand why it's controversial. Like it's not. You don't have to do it. Yeah, you don't have to pay for it. You can if you want, or you don't want to. And I saw the argument like, oh great, so they offer a paid alternative to ad block. And it's like, well,
you're doing that wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Your reasoning is backwards here.
Based on entitlement.
You can still ad block if you want. Like that option has always been available to you. But now this offers an alternative to people who hate ads, which is everyone. You have and who have an expendable income and want to support a site that they derive a lot of their entertainment from. It seems like a win-win for everybody, except for the content creators. But beyond that, I mean, it seems pretty win-win.
They're leveraging it in the wrong direction, though, because people as a whole really don't like YouTube, especially evidenced by the fact that they wouldn't be willing to put enough value to the concept of the site as a whole as to pay $10 per month to view it. Right? So if they leverage the people, the actual people and the faces and the personalities that they know they care about, YouTube could have taken an even larger cut, and they would have still made more.
Yeah.
Because those are faces of people individually who people want to support.
Yep.
People hate big faceless corporations.
Yes.
But they like people.
This is why I'm very surprised that they did it this way instead of an individual subscription-based channel thing. For multiple reasons. I fear that the reason is because they were like, well, the tip jar failed, so we might as well go and... Like, maybe they thought that the tip jar was their subscription thing. And it's like,
not even hardly
the tip
been
jar
out for
is...
2 months.
Yeah, and not only that, the tip jar sucks ass. I don't... Like...
It's tied to Google Wallet. Nobody cares.
Right. And at the same time, like, I don't see why anyone would want to. I mean,
you got to incentivize it. You got to go out of your way to make it an obvious thing.
Well, that's the thing. Like, there's no natural incentives to Twitch subscribers. You get likely a shout out, but even if not, you have potentially the access to subscriber locked VODs for some channels. You access to subscriber only chat for some channels, but more specifically, you have access to the sub emotes. And those are pretty fucking cool that you get to use across the entire and the badge, and you get that across the entire site, and that's a really cool incentive. I wish that Twitch is continuing with that thing and allow more incentives for that kind of thing, because right now it kind of falls on the streamer to give those incentives. But beyond that, I mean, like there's an incentive system there. I mean, I'm totally for people. I'm totally for people buying a service. Even if the service is so simple as I get cool emotes that I can use across the site, you know, that gives people an option to be like, I mean, the underlying reason that anyone subs, I think, beyond the emotes for most channels is to support the streamer that they like. And they get the added bonus of the subscriber emotes. So that's cool. That's like it's a win-win situation. The tip jar is like, no one gets to see when the tip comes in. It doesn't show up on the video. It doesn't fucking show anywhere.
I don't know if I've ever gotten one. There's nowhere for me to check. It doesn't show up in my analytics. If my network gets it, I don't know where they put it.
Yeah, it's like impossible to see. You don't know where it comes from. There's no incentive. You don't get anything for it as a you know a viewer. You don't even get to comment with a badge like I supported, which that is like the simplest solution. I supported this channel. Here, a little badge on everybody's channel. You don't even have to make it specific to the channel, but there you go. There's a tiny incentive.
If they
like
wanted
that.
to just grab a couple of ideas from Patreon and just say, hey guys, now we're going to enable that you can have Patreon-style rewards on your YouTube channel.
Exactly.
If you get a certain amount of support based on whatever you set as your increments, you can now unlock a playlist or unlock a video or add an avatar or show some link that, you know, whatever.
Right, yeah.
Just build it into your fucking homepage in your channel. Because there's hardly any actual customizability to your channel anymore.
Yeah,
Let us have a
really
little
is.
of that fucking power back. We get one banner, and that's our entire presence.
Yeah.
We get a banner, and we get our opening
Intro
pre-roll video.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Let us have a little bit more than that, and I think people would be really excited to go and embrace all those features. They've added cards lately, which is like, they're kind of like enhanced annotations. Basically
right,
makes
yeah.
it easier for you to sell things. So, for example, like with my Teespring campaign, there's a little sidebar that'll pop open if you hover over a link, and it'll show you a picture of the Teespring campaign on the side of the video in like a transparent bubble.
That's kind of
It's
cool.
fine. It's kind of cool, I guess, but it's not like a feature that's going to change the way YouTube works the way they want to say it. What I just mentioned, adding some actual functionality to people's channels, I think would do that.
Yeah, totally.
As well as incentivizing people to chip in and donate to people, which it's not like they don't get a cut of that too.
Right.
Come on.
That's the thing.
Google
That's what I'm
Wallet.
saying. That's what I mean. Is like, why wouldn't YouTube, as the faceless money grubbing corporation, why wouldn't they want to do that? That should be an easy sell to investors. That should be a really easy sell. Hey, here's another avenue of pay that people could use. I don't see the downside here.
Right.
And I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. And it's like, it's a win-win. The content creator wins and YouTube wins. They both get paid. And like, what other, like, how much could it possibly cost to dole out that system? Like,
I have no idea. I mean, you don't know that either, honestly.
I don't.
The infrastructure cost of that and all the different platforms they'd have to implement it on, not to mention the apps on the various consoles now. It could be rather difficult.
You know, it might be a copyright concern.
How so?
Well, okay, so like, you already
People
get paid
own the
on
concept?
ad. Well, no, you already get paid on ads, right? And they've already fought that in court. But it would be a different battle if people are getting paid directly on, say, like, you know, say I make a video on Call of Duty, and people subscribe to my channel, and it's only a Call of Duty channel. Then Activision could come in and be like, hey, they're getting paid specifically for our content, give us a cut, or we'll sue you. Maybe that's their concern. I don't know.
I mean, that's the way it is now, just with the ads as the benefactors of that money instead, or the ad
it's
buyers.
possible that the precedent in court has been set up as to that the ads are in a different scope than the fucking paid directly. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because they're big companies and they're people, but we're not people.
Right, exactly, yeah.
I don't know either. That doesn't make
I don't know.
sense.
It just
Not
seems,
sure I followed that argument, honestly.
It's very I mean, I'm literally just throwing shit at the wall because I can't see a reason. And at the same time, like I said, I don't know why this is controversial, this thing for a YouTube Turbo. Like, why are people really, why is the world gonna end because of it? I don't get it.
The other argument I've heard is that it's a slippery slope thing, that it's one step away from them making it mandatory, and then you're going to have to pay $10 a month to watch YouTube.
That, they will never do that.
Why?
Because it is, unless they would have to be beyond morons to make YouTube only premium.
Mm-hmm.
There is no chance that they could even entertain that idea. Because YouTube would just, day one would fail. It would just go into the ground. There's no chance anyone would, and frankly, honestly, the content I produce should not be behind a paywall.
Right.
It just shouldn't. It's not high enough quality content. It just isn't. I mean, maybe some people's videos, like when they do like these complex,
Well, but you're getting rolled into a package with 100 million other channels, so it's not like they're paying $10 specifically to you.
Yeah, still though. I mean,
It's like you're getting the freaking, you're getting the golf channel with HBO.
but here's the thing, like, as soon as you do that, the majority of YouTube content is like shitty little one-off videos where like, Alan, it's only fucking snow, you know, or like a rabbit eating raspberries. Like that's what YouTube is. That's where they get most of their money. So like, if I can't upload this adorable video of my rabbit eating raspberries on YouTube, then I'll just go somewhere else that offers a free alternative. Like, it's an easy solution for anyone to do. So, like, it would be stupid for them
so you're saying the value proposition has been lowered to 0 at this point? Like, as far as the supply and demand,
it is
too much supply and demand is,
It is impossible, in my opinion, for them to ever put a paywall across all of YouTube. It doesn't make any logical sense, and they would literally be shooting themselves in the foot if they decided to do it.
But in the hypothetical that they did, regardless of all the things that you just said, I still think there is enough value proposition on YouTube as far as the videos that are there and the content that goes up that's worth $10. That's not asking that much.
That's there now, but afterwards, how many people are really going to stick to the platform?
I don't know.
Like, no one.
I'm just saying.
I wouldn't. I'd move over immediately.
If you look at Hulu and you look at Netflix and you look at YouTube, they all have a lot of shit going on them.
Yeah, but okay, like even though your content is at a higher quality than mine is, I think.
Nah.
But even in that case, would you really hold up the stuff that you produce in entertainment quality to something like House of Cards?
No, but that's not what I mean. I'm not trying to say I'm as good as them. It's just niches like certain things.
That's true. But, I mean, just still, YouTube just doesn't... I mean, if YouTube had their own... Honestly, okay, this would be something that would be pretty cool. I would be into this if YouTube tried to compete in the digital video space and have, like, episodes of shows locked behind a paywall, and it would have a service similar to Netflix or Hulu or what have you. And that was like a separate partition on the site. Yeah.
They could do that right now. They have that set up already.
I know they could do that. They're just not, for whatever reason. I don't know why. Because, like, it's like, I mean, when you're trying to convince someone of the value of something like a Netflix or a Hulu, and I don't mean like your average cord cutter, you know, millennial-aged person. I mean like an older person trying to cut the cord and go on Netflix or something. They don't know what the fuck Hulu is. They hear that and they say, like, what are they going to try to give my money to a Nigerian prince? But if you tell them about YouTube doing it, everybody knows fucking YouTube. You'd have to be 1,000,000 years old to have not heard of YouTube, at least. So, like, it just... And they already have the infrastructure there to do it. So, again, that one just seems like a no-brainer to me, and I don't understand why YouTube's not... I mean, maybe they are exploring that avenue, but...
I can't believe they wouldn't be.
Yeah.
That just seems impossible. They're like fucking high-powered executives. They have to be doing that.
Yeah, and it's a publicly traded company as well, so, I mean, they have to appeal to the investors. I mean, I don't see how that... I mean, I'm sure it's a topic that's come up in discussion before.
Even if they in particular don't do it, they should be leasing their infrastructure for others to be doing it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's all very... I mean, YouTube is just a confusing platform just because of the amount of things that they don't do. You know, I mean, it's amazing. The company is founded on a premise of innovation, of what YouTube really was at the start, which is, you know, allow people to easily upload and watch videos on the internet, and that was like one of the first sites that did it well. And so that's a basis of innovation, and then after that they were like, alright, we can just coast.
And now you saw the email they sent us that actually sounded like the tone of, you should be proud that we're trying to do something new.
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating, right? That really sounded like what they were trying to put forward in that several paragraphs.
Yeah. I mean, I am, though.
Giving us any information, though. They didn't really tell us anything.
I am at least happy that they're trying to offer alternatives for people who want to support a site that they like. I like it. That's cool. That
What if
is
they freaking?
good.
What if they throw us under the bus to try and clear up some good name? What if they try to make it sound like, hey, you can support all the channels you love, but in reality, we're gonna give them 0.2 of a penny every month,
Right.
and we're gonna take $7,000 million from it.
Oh, I don't doubt that they will do that.
So that's just bait and switch. That shouldn't be a thing we should be proud of.
No, but if it is successful, then it does open up the avenue of opportunity where they can say, yeah, now we will open up channel-specific partnership or subscription models.
Yeah, because we'll sacrifice the $700 billion that we made from this option to give a better option where we don't make that.
Right, yeah.
That
Well, I mean, they would make more on that. They would make so much more.
I know they'd make more, but they'd make more if they just did it in the first place.
Yeah, that's
So why aren't they doing it?
That's true. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's like an investor concern, you know? Maybe that's what it is. Like, the investors are like, well, how many people are gonna, like, say, fuck off YouTube, I hate this idea, we're not watching the site anymore because of, it's like a protest, which seems to be actually the general consensus.
Did seem that way, maybe.
So,
I don't think anyone would really follow through with it, but it sounds like people are very angry right now.
Yeah. And I really don't get it. And it's not, like... Honestly, this is... So, slippery slope is not always a fallacy, right?
When you go from A to C without going to B.
Right. Slippery slope is only a fallacy if you see A and assume C. And I'm telling you, YouTube offering a subscription ad-free system on YouTube as an optional measure does not mean the next thing is putting in all of YouTube behind a paywall. That is like Z. That is A to, like...
It's not Z, though. Come on, there's built-in bad will towards YouTube for a while. So people are going to assume cynical things. I don't mean to say that they should, but I think that's probably where that's coming from.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair, but it's still an assumption that's unrealistic.
I'll give you a D. I'll give you to D. I won't give you to Z.
All right, fine. But honestly, it's incredibly unrealistic to suggest that YouTube would be behind an entire paywall. It just won't do that. I mean, if not only because the content creators would just leave. No one would stay. I mean, unless... Huh? Well,
where are we going?
Go somewhere else. Vimeo, Dailymotion.
Oh, you did that. Oh.
What?
We've even discussed that that's not a viable option.
There's even Vessel. Vessel is an option.
We found out about in the damn Verge article we were reading about this.
That's true, yeah. Vessel is another alternative.
Vessel.
But the thing is, as soon as YouTube goes behind a paywall, they will lose market share. They will lose a considerable amount of market share. I would even suggest they would lose like over 10% market share within the first month. And then it would get lower and lower and lower, and it would diminish to the point that they're not a non-factor. So, I mean, it would just be silly. It would just be silly for them to do that, honestly.
I can't speculate on those things. I don't know enough.
I know that no one would pay... I mean, I know that less than like 5% of people who browse YouTube right now would stick on a paywall system. You might get new people. That's a possibility.
I'm looking at it like if I put up a $10 paywall, no one should stay. But as the platform as a whole, that should not stop everyone from watching it.
I think it'll stop a majority of people. I won't. Like, I wouldn't stick around. I wouldn't expect people to do that. Honestly, like I said, the content that I provide is simply not worth that.
I'm just talking about everybody, not just you.
I know, but I mean, the majority of content on YouTube is not worth that. Like I said, the majority of content on YouTube is adorable bunnies eating raspberries.
But if there's just one or two series that you're freaking into, you want to pay the $10. It's not the end of the world for a month.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, it would really be an incredible detriment to YouTube. Although, that said, the 5% that do decide, like, even if my fake made up number out of bullshit my ass was a factor, and it was 5% that decided to adopt the paywall method, YouTube actually might be more profitable in that case.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Why could they not be more profitable just by virtue? Like, definitionally, how would they not be more profitable? It's like a
Well,
tautology, isn't it? Like, they're adopting a thing that makes people pay, so they will be more profitable.
well, yeah, but I mean, they would lose the majority of their audience. So
Okay, we're just weighing the risk for the benefit, basically. And,
yes,
yeah.
like you would have to do a very complex cost benefit analysis on how much. So each individual view is worth like next to
Basically nothing.
Yeah, it's worth next to nothing. So you'd have to analyze how many views you get monthly on YouTube altogether, how many of those are monetizable, and of those monetizable views, what is the logical percentage of that money going away?
Yeah.
Which would be, in my opinion, extremely high. And from that, you would also then have to calculate how much money you expect to make from your paywall method and weigh those against each other. And honestly, if it's not an overwhelming amount of money, like, if your paywall method isn't overwhelmingly beating what your projection of losses are, then
you save the goodwill.
Then yes, you save the goodwill. But
YouTube does not give a shit about goodwill.
That's an excellent point. That is an excellent point. But at the same time, I mean, they would you'd have to factor in so much shit to do that. I think it's actually impossible. I don't think YouTube would ever even entertain the possibility. I really do. It would be a very silly thing for them to do. Because it would just strengthen their competition.
We were talking about ad block numbers the other day, and I think it was like 65% or something of viewers are ad blocking.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, like
really high.
Most people only have about 30% of their views are monetizable. I've talked to multiple people about this, yeah, and it's roughly the average is around 30%.
So if you took someone that was getting the 1 million views per month, which is by most accounts very good, if you're trying to go in an upward fashion or at least have some good momentum. A lot of people have said that that's like a baseline for what you need to make a living on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And then you take that 30% of that, so you're down to 300,000.
Yeah.
Right? And then you take oh god, this is where I'm going to get into math and I can't do math. So you then take the 45% that YouTube takes, which we don't know is actually that number, but we assume it's somewhere between 45 and 55%. Mm-hmm. And then you take whatever your split is with your network. You're not doing very well anymore.
Yeah. And then if you want to make Nintendo content, there's another 40% chunk right out of there.
Not to mention it's variable CPMs, so every day you could be making a different amount based on what ad buys are worth.
Right.
You could be making as little as like 0.01%, 1 cent per view.
Yeah. Yes.
So if you're on the math there, you're not doing very well anymore.
No.
And I've noticed that it's very, very hard to keep going at the level where you're losing money on YouTube for a long time when there's other options. Like, what are you doing at that point? You're wasting everybody's time.
Well, Freeze, a viewer of even the Magic series and of all of our channels, pointed out, like, why doesn't YouTube adopt a blocker for ad blockers? And in my opinion, I think that's a bad idea, because I just think that's the wrong way to go about it. Like, honestly, ad block is just a fact of life. There are people who just... I mean, the majority of people, through the monetizable views, have shown, the majority of people don't support our channel through ads. And I don't think cutting them out entirely is the way to go about it. Because, like, that was... I mean, throughout our young adult lives, we have struggled with piracy on the PC gaming sphere, right? Yeah. And we have seen how piracy played out, and we have seen that the way to combat piracy... Now, I guess this is just my opinion, but still... In my opinion, the way to combat piracy is to not go after the pirates, because, 1, that kills your goodwill, because the public hates you, and 2, it's really not worth it, because yeah, you can get a settlement out of some people, and sure, you'll make some money back, I guess. But then more pirates are just gonna pop up in their place, and you would have created a new. I mean, it's like the U.S. trying to stop Al Qaeda and creating ISIS. You know, like
again, it's a war against a concept. And those are not possible.
And so, like, that just doesn't work. The way that you really combat piracy, and again, this is something that we've seen in film and television as well, not just video games, is you offer a more convenient service. Steam, Netflix, Hulu, these are simply more convenient than piracy. And
you know, they're almost
behind a
diametrically
paywall.
opposed, the two options, because what you said earlier, the whole thing about goodwill, I think goodwill is actually the best way to combat piracy.
Yeah.
Respect people and treat them like they're not criminals, and they're more likely to treat you the same way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I every time I stream, whenever I run an ad, I thank the people who decide to support me through ads by turning off their ad blocker for me. And I do that, I mean, I don't say it on YouTube videos, but thank you, those of you who decide to turn off your ad blocker for me.
Likewise.
That's very nice of you to support me that way, so thank you. But I don't think the way to do it is to block the ad blockers. Yeah, a lot of sites do it. A lot of sites have pop-up messages that say, like, hey, we see you're using ad blocker or whatever. Maybe you'd suggest you turn it off. I mean, that message seems innocuous. I think I'd be okay with something like that. But, like, some sites, like, I know MLG... Here's part of the reason why I don't think it would work. This is only part of the reason. I think, fundamentally, I think it's wrong because cutting them out is just not going... They'll always find a way around it. You'll just create new methods to block ads. That's all you're gonna do. But here's another thing. MLG, when they were running a tournament of Dota last year, I don't have ad blocker. I don't use ad blocker, right? Partly because of the, you know, philosophical reasons, and probably because I'm too lazy to get it. But I don't have ad blocker. I don't use it. But MLG's player thought I did, and in fact, lots of people in the Dota community were getting false positive matches on ad blocker, and they weren't able to watch the tournament until they had to switch like 3 different browsers to get it to work. And now I'm not saying that YouTube will fuck it up if they try to do it, but I am saying that YouTube will fuck it up if they try to do it, and they will fuck up people's things, and people who are not using ad blocker will get blocked from watching YouTube, and that's not good for anybody. So
they need to leverage the goodwill of their people again, of their content creators, not the company, because if you give me the ability on my own personal channel to set up a thing that might show up in my video frame that says, hey, it would be cool if you disabled your ad block, that would be a very different message than if you go to the website as a whole and it says, hey, don't use ad block.
Right. Or alternative methods, like this YouTube Turbo, there's one, or like individual subscriptions. I've had so many people have come into my Twitch chat and you know, ad block has come up before, and I've talked about it, and so many people, lots of people have said, hey, I do ad block your channel, but I am subscribed, so I don't know if that's enough. And every time, for me at least, I'm just like, yeah, that's totally cool. Like, absolutely.
I don't want to come across as being not thankful enough, because honestly, if it weren't for all the generosity outside of YouTube, like, I would absolutely not be able to continue doing this. I'm running a shirt campaign right now that I've never in a million years I would have dreamed that this many people would want to buy shirts from me. So because of those things, I have nothing to worry about. I'm just talking about the people that are in this one community, in this microcosm, trying to make ends meet from just doing YouTube.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do that. That's not possible.
Yeah, it really isn't. There really is not enough opportunity for
people doing much better than me can't quite make it. Like 70% better than me. Can make it.
It's and if you offered those things, then yeah, it would be totally fine. Like I said, that's what I said to people on YouTube or on Twitch who were subscribed to me and said that, yeah, you know, honestly, I'll admit that I do use ad blocker on your channel, but I'm subscribed to you. And it's like, well, to be totally frank with you, the $2, well, no, everybody knows it's 50-50 split. But anyway, the $2 the $2.50 that I get from you from your subscription per month is
It's like
probably
10 years
yeah,
worth of YouTube
it
videos.
probably equates to about 10 years of you watching just ads on my channel. So like, absolutely, ad block away if you
I'm in the same
support
boat
me
on
in
that.
way. Yeah, and it's, you know, whatever. Everybody hates ads. Everybody knows everybody hates ads. I understand that. Although, at the same time, I like the ads on YouTube sometimes. Sometimes they actually have a product that I want to click, and sometimes I do actually click on the ad and go to the thing and see what
They have
is happening.
infrastructure that's set up based on keywords, and people say this all the time, like, as if it's surprising, but like, oh, I made a video about my cat, and there was a cat ad before it.
Mm-hmm.
You know how they do that?
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we put in tags underneath the videos, and it searches those tags and matches them with ad buy content. So it's not like a big mystery. It's just, you know, they've figured out a way that, you know, if you create content that is based on things that are relevant to the people watching that content, those ads will then get more clicks.
Yeah.
So it works.
Yeah. People also think that that's like a really sinister thing, which
How so?
I don't really understand either. Well, like, people really hate the idea of like targeted ads, like, oh, they know what I'm browsing, so they target ads to me so that they can give me a product that is more relevant to my interests. What assholes!
That's
like,
not even based on your cookies, it's just based on the tag we put into our video.
Yeah.
Most of the time. I mean, there are ones that are based on your cookies as well, but I don't think that's what I'm talking about in this case.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, yeah. I don't know. People are more negative about ads than I am. Well, I understand. Some people have this weird entitlement thing where they think like, yeah, I shouldn't have to watch ads. It's like, well, I mean, honestly, do you have a better system? Because if you want free content, I don't know a better system. I don't know a better system that even... I don't know a better system that has been proven to work, nor do I know a better system that I've heard of. Because, like, if you want the internet to remain free and open, the fact of the world is that's powered by advertisement. People have to eat, you know. They have to pay rent. That money has to come from somewhere. And honestly, ads are, like, among the least, like, insulting methods of generating revenue.
I think people forget that it's a transaction that's taking place when you're watching a video. Just because you're not giving us money, you are providing a service to us, which is to spend your time.
Yes, exactly.
Your time is valuable to certain people, so that's where the exchange comes in.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. What you paying for this free video comes through the 15 seconds of an ad that you watch.
But the mistake, I think, there's like a false equivalency thing that's like, because I didn't watch ads all the time, they should never be there. Because, like, how did I get away with watching them, or not watching them this time and this time and that time, but now I have to watch them? Like, what changed?
I missed all of that because of the headphones, but...
I said sometimes you have to watch them, other times you don't have to watch them, so what changed between those two things? Right? Nothing changed, you just should have had to watch them all the time. Or there's other factors that are at play that are behind the scenes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's just... I honestly, I like the internet and not behind a paywall, which is also, again, that's the main reason that I don't use ad blocker, is that I like the internet being free, and I don't want the internet behind a paywall on every website. And I know that the way that I support the internet is by not blocking their ads, by giving them the little amount that I can, like literally fractions of a penny for my view on anything, any website, comes from me looking at the ads. I'm okay with that. That is in my mind, that is a reasonable transaction. That is the value proposition is totally worth it for me. You know?
Do you think that there's a disconnect between YouTube and Twitch in that Twitch has not only provided so many better means for people to make a living on that platform, but also that there's actually more intrinsic value to their platform because it's dynamic content and not static content that's passive?
I don't know.
The fact that you can interact with someone on a one-to-one basis, that's so much more attractive to people that they're willing to do more to be part of that.
That definitely provides more incentive. I won't disagree with you there, yeah.
You know, there's that whole thing about you're seeing a video, but anyone can see this video. It's been available, and it will be available at any time that I want to watch it. Nothing about that experience will have changed. But on Twitch, this is my one chance to have this moment that'll never be replicated again live.
Right.
So there's more value to that live moment.
Oh, I don't think if YouTube did a subscriber system like Twitch, they would have to go much farther with it than.
Well, that's what I was getting at ultimately.
Thing.
So
Yes.
if they set up the same exact pricing structure, people wouldn't pay the same for essentially what people would look at as Twitch VODs.
Exactly. Yeah. No, you're totally right. The incentive isn't inherently. It's not as incentivized inherently on YouTube as it is on Twitch. Because you get so much more. I mean, you get the interaction with the streamer, you get his thanks, which honestly, again, is another transaction. I mean, that's totally fine. I mean, I'm totally happy to thank people who support me. I mean, that's a fine thing, and it's not wrong of people to expect that or want that or desire thanks for their support. I mean, but it would be very difficult to do that on YouTube. So there would have to be a different system, and emotes.
Well, we do it on Patreon. I mean,
well, Patreon is different though. There's different incentives, you know.
When we finish the roundtable thing, we do a list of like 75 people, and we just say all their names and say thank you. Yeah. It's like, I don't know, that feels kind of not the same in a way. Like, so we're not telling them directly right then. Right. Putting it into a video doesn't feel quite as sincere in a way, even though we mean it just the same.
Right. No, I agree, but Patreon has other incentives that are good. So, I mean, it has Kickstarter like tiered reward systems. So, you know, it has other incentives, and that's the kind of thing that YouTube would have to have. There would have to be other incentives because so I didn't have a donation. I still don't have a donation link on my YouTube, because I don't see the need for it right now. I've always been wary of having a donation thing because I never felt like the things that I create are worthy of a donation. The only thing that changed that for me, and the reason that I put it on Twitch, is when I got the subscribe button, what people would do, very generous people, would decide to subscribe to me, and what they would do is they would start subscribing on multiple accounts to, you know, as right. joke names and stuff. And while that is very nice of them to do that, they have to go incredibly out of their way to do that. They have to make a new email, they have to go on Twitch, and from the words of one of the people that said it to me, was, hey, Rob, honestly, if I want to support you and I want to give you $20 that I have and I want to hand to you because I like your content, then I have to pay $40 to give you that $20 because half of it goes to Twitch. And that was a compelling enough argument that I was like, all right, I will open up donations on my channel and thank you. But you know, beyond that, I don't remember what my initial point is for the donations and the Patreon.
You're saying why you do it.
Right, and then that's why I say the tip jar is silly. I mean, like, I am all for that. Oh yeah, that's right. I was talking about like the subscriptions on YouTube. There would have to be a lot of incentive to it, because if there isn't, I wouldn't even really want to activate it on my YouTube if there's no incentive for it. Because the thing is, I don't want people to just give me money without getting anything in return. I mean, yeah, I know what you get back in return is very slight on Twitch. You get the emotes and a badge and the shout out and it's very slight, but at least there is some semblance of value.
There's an active exchange happening on YouTube. It would just be passively floating away, and that doesn't really feel right. Yeah,
exactly. I don't like the idea of that. But if YouTube did it with a proper incentive system, totally. Also, Nick, I should mention that you were concerned about your hard drive space.
Yeah, I think we're probably gonna have to wrap up in a minute, but it's been a good conversation.
It was, yeah. I think we've touched on.
Dude, I hope nobody's donated to my channel on YouTube and I don't even know.
Yeah, it's possible.
If that's happened and I don't know about it, I really apologize, but I have no way to check it. I've looked through all my analytics. There's nothing that talks about the tip jar thing anywhere.
Have you guys not turned this into a podcast? I would literally listen to this shit all the time if it was. Yeah. You know what? Maybe we should. It is a podcast right now, but maybe we should like cut off the magic portion at the beginning and like offer that as a separate audio only podcast on something.
If you want to do that, you're welcome to. I got enough things I gotta cut up.
Yeah, and someone also mentioned the that I forgot to link the Sunday Horse short film. I never got the link for that myself, actually, so I haven't seen it. But,
I have it in my channel. Somebody posted it on mine.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, if not for Bear doing all the stuff for the podcast, I wouldn't have been able to handle all that work. Dude is a monster. He's got so much shit, and he does it all.
Yeah. Yeah, with the Patreon and all that.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, no, it totally is. Part of the reason that I don't do it. I mean,
Planning,
the other part of the reason.
commissioning, making text, talking about it, revising it, coming up with rewards, and then actually acting out those rewards.
Yeah.
It's more work than it sounds like, as silly as that sounds. I'm not trying to sound like I'm having a hard time with it. It's just like, man, I'm glad that we have a team doing this shit, because I couldn't.
Right, yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Mondays and Fridays, new magic. Also, considering the topic of discussion, I will formally reiterate, thank you those of you who decide to support us through the use of turning off your ad blocker for me. It is very wonderful of you to do that, so thank you. And thank you everyone who's supported us in the past in various other ways. I mean, honestly, even your view is helpful, so...
Anybody that's done a thing, just at all, like, I don't really care if you ad block as long like, if you're around, you're part of the community, we've all seen each other, we know each other, it's fine. It's, you know,
exactly.
It's just the discussion that we're having for the sake of theoreticals and hypotheticals, and you know, the monetary engine that drives forward the platform of YouTube is worth discussing, because it, you know, empowers a lot of people to make life decisions. And thanks to all of the people around me in the circle of the community that I'm involved in, I'm not worried that much right now. So whether or not YouTube goes away in my life, I think I'd still be okay, and I'm really thankful for that.
Yep, totally. Yeah.
So, thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.
Talk
Mondays and Fridays, new magic. Bye! This is Alpaca Patrol signing out. Peace, fools.